NRA has been very aggressive in marketing guns toward women, and now there are a number of different companies that are actually creating sexy products so women will be encouraged to buy guns. Now, there are 5 sexy products that Raw Story spoke about or wrote about that I found kind of interesting, and they're different types of holsters where women can carry their guns in very, very private places. That's if you want to have a concealed weapon. So there's something that I wouldn't advise women to do, keeping a gun really close to the crotchal region, as Ron Burgundy would say. But there's one example of one holster, and I'll give you the details of that in a second. But let's pause right here.
I agreed.
Okay, so this is the Flashbang bra holster, and it's $14.99. It's made by a company called Gun Goddess, and I just feel like having a gun near my breasts would be a little unsafe.
Yeah. Look, I'm not a gun owner, so it's hard for me to understand, but the idea of sticking a gun in my crotch is just about the most uncomfortable thing in the world. And the same, obviously.
Sit, and what if you slouch? I'm just saying, look, I know that guns have, certain mechanisms to prevent it from going off when it's not supposed to go off, but we've done numerous stories where guns go off when they're not supposed to go off.
Yeah, and you know why? Because we're human beings, and we forget. We forget our, like, do you ever forget your keys anywhere? You're positive you wouldn't forget your gun, okay? Or you wouldn't forget to put it back on safety, right? Before you put it next to your tit and blow your tit off, okay? How many stories have we done where guys have blown their crotch off, right? There goes their Johnson or their balls or something, right? Yeah. So, okay, if you want to, but I'm trying to help you, and I would counsel against it.
Now, we do have a video kind of showing how the bra holster works. Let's take a look at that.
Okay, you ready, hon?
Yes.
All right, 3, 2. Okay. Time is 1:66. Okay. 1.42 seconds.
That's awesome.
Time, 1.68 seconds. All right.
That is the grooviest thing.
So that's how it works.
2 quick things about that video. First, I wish they could have picked a place where it was a little more windy. No, it just wasn't quite windy enough. Okay. Second of all, I wonder why they use that model. I can't quite tell. Okay.
That kind of made me want to buy a gun and put it in my boob. I'm just kidding.
I don't know if they're actually selling guns to women or if they're trying to sell them to guys.
Right. Right. Look, I'm in favor of people being able to legally purchase guns. I'm in favor of common sense, gun regulation. But at the same time, I feel uncomfortable with putting a gun near your genitals or near your breasts. I feel like there are other ways to conceal your weapons that make more sense. Okay, so I don't have a problem with that. I actually think that's not a bad idea. All right, it's a sexy way of carrying your gun, concealing your gun. It's fine. I feel like it's a safer way of doing it. That's a corset that's specially designed to hold your gun. I just feel like, look, the reason why they're doing this is because they're making guns look sexy. That's the whole point. Put it near your breasts, so that way if you're, confronted with some sort of threat, you grab it out of your boobs or you grab it out of your crotch, and it's like a sexy thing to have. It makes you feel powerful and strong. But it's just, I feel like it increases the chances of you hurting yourself if you keep it in places like that.
So it's a marketing move, right? And I agree with you. The one that was on the leg, that was with the lace and stuff, that was kind of hot. Okay, credit where credit is due. But to Anna's point about how it's not actually going to make you safer, women in the U.S. are 11 times more likely to be murdered with guns than women in other high-income countries. 11 times more likely. Why? Because there's more guns. And then the presence of a gun in domestic violence situations increases the risk of homicide for women by only 500%. So if there's a gun in the house and there's domestic violence, you're 500% more likely to get shot than if there is no gun, or to have violence that that leads to a homicide, right? But these are so obvious. More guns equals more homicides, but they refuse to acknowledge the obvious. I'll give you one more. 38% fewer women are shot to death by intimate partners in states that require background checks. Oh yeah, freedom, no background checks. And then more women get killed in situations. So like they think they're telling you, oh no, this guns really help women. No, they don't. Now, of course, guns have hurt women so much in instances like this, they then ironically make the point, well, then you're going to need a gun to protect yourself.
Yeah, so it's kind of a vicious cycle that the NRA has pushed for. So they start off by making guns seem like they're extremely cool, and I totally understand the appeal of that. I understand why people love guns, they love the way they work, they love the way they feel, it's a power thing, right? But at that point, so many people get their hands on guns, and it leads to so many irrational, unsafe, violent uses of those guns that it creates a state of paranoia. And now all of a sudden, the NRA can say, look at all this violence. The only thing that could stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. Go out there and buy a gun.